Congress, I'm the CEO of Success Resources. Now, the pre-COVID day, Success Resources organized 550 events a year. Means that every day there's one event somewhere in the world, or a couple of events that happen at the same time. So me and my team are very, very happy to be here, to be of service to you. Now, I'm a second generation Singaporean. You can see that I'm Chinese. Can you understand my English? Or do you prefer me to speak Chinese? Okay, let's stick to English. So I'm a second generation Singaporean. My parents came from southern China. They are farmers by their skill. So they don't have actual skill that's useful when they come to Singapore, right? So my dad had two jobs. The first job is he's a trishaw rider. Now some of you don't know what is a trishaw. So this is a trishaw, and this is a trishaw. So in the daytime, he ride the trishaw, right? So in the night time, his second job, he also ride the trishaw. So he ride the trishaw day and night, work 16 hours a day. Now he's a wonderful man, very responsible man, and he worked very, very, very hard. And perhaps I learned a lot from him. In fact, I learned to work hard from him. So we rented a house, right? We rented a 3-story shop house for $30 a month. That is $1 a day. So my dad, without going to Robert Kiyosaki's real estate programs or etc., he divided the shop house into 10 rooms, 10 small rooms. So our family, we occupy one room, and the other 9 rooms we rented out to strangers. In fact, I stay in a red light area in Singapore. So the people that comes to rent the place, they are all kind of people, right? Those of them who work in the red light area, we have people who are strangers, you know what they do, but they gamble in the house. And sometimes we even have fights in the house. We have fights in the house. I grew up in those environments. And I am very, 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 very sure I do not want to stay in this place. Actually, I do not want my parents to stay in this environment. I do not, when I was young then, I said, I do not want my sister to stay there. My sister is younger than me. I do not want my future family to stay in this place. So I'm very sure I have to move out of this place, even though it kind of provides for my school, right, expenses. And I counted. My parents had one room, me and my wife had one room, my children had one room, my sister had one room, and perhaps I'd like to have a helper, domestic help in one room. So I really, really need a house that has 5 rooms. But if you have been to Singapore, Singapore is a very small place. Property are very, very, very expensive. So for someone to own a house of 5 rooms is very, 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 very rare. But that was my intention, and very clear, that is what I want. And eventually when I go to work and make money, I bought a house with 5 rooms in Singapore. So clarity of intention is the art of understanding and expressing your goal, desire, and objective with utmost precision and focus. And it involves being aware of what you truly want to achieve, to effectively communicate with people around you, but most of all, clarity of intention is the ability to communicate this message to yourself. Now I want you to do an exercise, just a few moments of exercise. I want you to reflect on your desire, what you truly want in your life. Maybe what you want to do, your career, your relationship, and how much money you want to make, what business you want to be in, perhaps your health. Just take a few moments to reflect on what you really want in your life. So let me count. 2005, 2004, 2003, 2002, 2001, let's be finishing, and stop. Now it's very, very, very important to have clarity. Now clarity starts with understanding your own motivation. Why do I want to buy a house with 5 rooms? I'm a guy. I don't care if I sleep on the bus stop, right? But out so that my parents can stay in a nice place, in a nice environment. My children, my family can stay in a nice place. So I'm motivated by that. I'm very clear. That was my motivation. Now, why is it important to have absolute clarity of intention? Why is it important? So when your intention are clear, people around you, your team, don't have to second guess what are the priority or decision. Decision is fixed as when you have a clarity of intention, right? Now, when you have a clarity of intention, that your roadmap are being set, your roadmap are being set because it helps you to be very clear with your purpose. And when you have a clarity of intention, your action will be consistent. Your action will be consistent. I'd like to share with you a story. Maybe some of you have watched this Netflix movie, Alexander, the Making of God. Now, Alexander is one of the greatest generals in the history of mankind. And before World War II, this war is the largest war in the history of mankind. Now, his desire is to spread Greek culture all over the world. I'm going to share with you about the battle Gaugamela on 331 BC. 331 BC. Now, this is a war between Alexander and the Persian army led by King Darius in the year 331 BC. Now, when the scout came back, when Alexander's the scout came back and made a report to the general was really worried and called for a meeting, right, with Alexander and all the war cabinet, right, together. So the general says, our scout came back and they saw the Persian army from east to west and all the way down as far as the eye can see. In the night, you see a sea of campfire. And from all our reliable spies and report, Darius, the Persian, has 1 million soldiers. We have got only 50,000. Clearly, we are outnumbered 50 to 1, 20 to 1. And Alexander, so how? And Alexander said, I have a plan. And the general said, very good. If you have a plan, would you mind share your plan with us? Alexander says, I believe that even though there is 1 million army, they are not one army. They are here because they are from different province, different country that Persia has conquered. And these people speak different language, right? They have different religion, they have different culture, they have different fighting formation. And I believe they are here because of one common loyalty to Darius. And if you kill Darius, I believe the army will just disintegrate. So tomorrow we just do one thing. Just one thing. So what is that one thing? Tomorrow we just do one thing. The one thing is kill Darius. Kill Darius. I want you to go back to your camp and tell everybody, just do one thing. Kill Darius. Everybody go back. The general go back to their barrack and say, kill Darius, kill Darius, kill Darius, kill Darius. And the next day, when the Alexander's army faced the Persian. Now Alexander always standing in front. And Darius is always in the middle of the army. So Alexander's charge to Darius. So Darius was asking his general, what's happening? There's chaos in the front. The general replied, I think they are charging towards you. And Darius said, stop them. He said, we are doing our best. The general said, we are doing our best. If you are doing your best, I think I got to go back to the camp for lunch. Darius turned around and go back. And the general says, I think King Darius is right. Now it's lunchtime. We are also going back. So the general also turned around and go back. And the soldier will say, King Darius has gone, our general has gone, we must have lost the war. And they all dispersed. Alexander's army, right? They are strong military soldiers. They just slaughter every Persian. At the end of the war, more than 450,000 Persians were being slaughtered. The Greek has only lost more than 1,000 soldiers. Alexander then became the undisputed emperor of the largest empire in the world at that time. He is very focused. Clarity of intention. Kill Darius. Now, the absolute clarity of intention, you need to do two things. Number one, you need to be very focused. Number two, you must be willing to pay the price. Right? All of you here, we have goals and dreams. It's never about how you start. Many of us are different stages in our life. But it's always about how you finish. It's about how you finish. Now, as I say, many of you here got goals and dreams. And some people will tell you, for your goals and dreams, do or die. Do or die. But I want to tell you this. Richard Tan is going to tell you this. It's not just do or die. It's about do it before you die. Whatever your goal is, what you are doing is, do it before you die. Do it before you die. How many of you here have goals and dreams? Please raise your hand. Now, the National Expo Congress is a great place. It's a great place for you to have clarity of intention. We have many amazing instructors and speakers these last 2 days. And maybe some of you have goals and dreams, some of you have not. But in these 2 days, this is the best environment for you to have clarity of intention. Now, in the next few moments, I'm going to ask Robert Allen on stage to address you for a couple of minutes. How many of you are here to see Mr. Robert Allen? Make some noise! So you will not be disappointed if you put it up on stage to say a few things. Now, some of you here say, Success Resources, we like to work with you. Now, if you like to work with Success Resources, what I want to do is, don't talk to me, okay? I want to introduce you to an amazing lady that you can talk to if you want to work with Success Resources. So can you show Veronica? Yeah, Veronica. So these are the two amazing ladies. If you have anything to want to talk to Success Resources, link to this Veronica and Jill. Okay? Veronica and Jill. So I just want to conclude my presentation before I ask Robert to come to the stage. Is this, right? Set your intention only when you are ready to pay the price. If you want the price, you need to pay the price. If you want the price, you need to pay the price. Yeah? So, with this, I'd like to invite an amazing person up on stage. Now, he need no introduction. He is someone that 25 years ago, first person to coin this word called no money down. And it's influenced so many people with this concept. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to ask Mr. Robert Allen on the stage to say a few words.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you, Richard. That was brilliant. Richard,
Thank you.
Literally, the trainings he's done with Success Resources, he and Veronica have been all over the world, and you are part of the Success Resource family, and this is the right place to be. Now, I remember when I came to an event like this, when I was just getting started. I just graduated from University, and I couldn't find a job. Nobody would hire me. And therefore, I went to a seminar in the evening to learn about how to become more successful, just like you. And I remember sitting in the audience just like this, just like you. And I remember sitting there, watching the speaker speak, and I remember it very clearly. I was just sitting there on this seat, you know. And I was just so excited. Who are the speakers? Will they change my life? And they did. They changed my life. Because I went to the university, and what do they teach you in the university? How to get a job. How to work for somebody else for the rest of your life. Do you want to work for someone else for the rest of your life?
No!
Thank God I did not get a job. They didn't hire me because, you know, I would have been the worst employee on the planet. I left, I had $1,000 that my dad gave me for graduation, and I read some books on real estate investing. I'd been to that one little seminar. I never paid for it. I just sat in there and was inspired, and I read some books, and I went out and bought my first piece of real estate from college with no job, no cash, no credit, no cash flow, nothing, and I bought my first piece of real estate with that $1,000.
Woo!
And so I know what it's like to be you here, sitting here. And I know what it's like to come out of an audience, just like this, and go out into the world and create some wealth, because that is what you will do. And you're going to hear some fabulous speakers here. You're going to hear some people that will inspire you, motivate you, give you information, and systems, and strategies. But this is not a seminar for you to do a lot of learning. This is the seminar for you to decide, like Richard said, to decide with clarity, this is what I want. 5 years from today, I will have come out of a seminar like this, and I'll be up on this stage talking about my success. How many of you would like to be up on the stage telling the story of your success? I want you to imagine that Richard invites you to come up on stage. Why? Because you succeeded. And therefore, I'm so proud of you for being here, calling in sick from work, for being in this place, right? I'll be happy to share with you toward the end of today some very specific ideas for how you get where you really want to go. But Richard has invited some incredible speakers here to share their wisdom and knowledge with you. And once again, take your right hand, lift it over your left shoulder, pat yourself on the back and say, I'm in the right place.
I'm in the right place.
See everybody, Richard.
Thank you. God bless you so much again. So Robert will specifically be here today at the end of the program. Please be sure you catch a hit from Robert. Now I'd like to pass this to your host today, and you are in good hands. Come on.
Give both Richard and Robert a round of applause, please. I don't know about anybody here, but I'm really looking forward to the next 2 days, because you know we're going to be learning like crazy too,
We're
right?
like crazy. We started in rooms just like this ourselves. I hope you have pen, pencil, paper, fill that notebook. If we're going down the rabbit hole of success, bring a shovel.
That's right. And just so you're aware, because raise your hand if you've never ever trained with me before. If you've never trained with me before, and raise your hand if you've never trained with this amazing gentleman here before. Excellent. So is it okay if we give you like a 30 seconds to each who we are, so you might understand why you want to listen to these two aerodynamic dudes? Would that be all right?
Yes.
Thank you. Because here's the thing. We're not famous. We are implementers. We're what, everybody?
Implementers.
We're here because of our ability to take lessons and implement it. And one goal for all of you. Raise your hand if you want to get the absolute most out of these next 2 days. Raise your hand if you'd like to do that, yes?
I.
Don't try to remember everything. Everybody take your hands and go like this. And repeat after me. I want 1 or 2.
I want 1 or 2.
We want you to focus on getting 1 or 2 golden nuggets that you will take away from here and implement. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yes.
Thank you. So in about 30 seconds, who are you, Aaron?
So after 14 years of drug addiction and ending up homeless, I attended a seminar. And 6 years after giving up drugs, for the rest of my life, I'm proud to say, as of today, I listened to this man on stage.
Yeah, you give him a round of applause.
6 years after I gave up drugs, I listened to this man from the stage, and my hand went up when that question was asked, how many of you want to be up here? And I was like, there it is. And I opened a small martial arts school in Boulder, Colorado that continued to grow because I found my niche market, children, teenagers who were struggling with drugs and addiction, self-harm, mental health issues. And I began to specialize in working with those kids. I started teen camps, rites of passage programs. I opened a treatment center for teenagers, which became the most successful adolescent treatment center in the United States. All the while beginning to work with SR as one of their martial arts instructor trainers. We won't say any more about that.
We'll leave that part alone.
But here I am after 20 years, and the people that you are learning from on stage today have been my teachers, have been my students, and I can't be more thrilled to stand in front of you today in hopes that you do stand up and say, me next.
And just out of curiosity, Aaron, that amazing Robert G. Allen, do you and your wife have some kind of success because of learning from him?
Somewhere back there in 2006, we attended a Robert Allen seminar, and to this day I still own 27 doors, making passive income. Listen to what he has to say. Changed my life.
Make sense?
Yes.
Give him a high five. Say, that makes sense to
Makes
me.
sense.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
That makes
Makes
sense.
sense to me.
For me, just a quick background, I used to be a Domino's Pizza franchisee for 9 years. How many years, everybody? 9!
9.
And I started making pretty good money, but my blueprint was set for spending more money than I was earning. Anybody ever done that before in their life? Spend more money than...
Test,
and I thought I was the only one.
test. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Just we can hear you. So, and 8 years into being a franchisee, my wife and I were
Test, test,
$150,000 in debt.
Test.
So if we, there we go, thanks, Sanj. So after 8 years of being franchisees, over $150,000 in personal debt, we came to $1 million or Mind Intensive, that program I mentioned earlier. Taking what we learned from that program and actually putting it into practice. Putting it into what, everybody?
Practice.
Practice. We were able to take the information and we were able to go from being over $150,000 in personal debt.
Wow.
Yeah, of course, I didn't say at the age of 32 because some of you are already north of that number. So let's work 9 months. I found my passion, which was to train, and for the last 20 years, I've been blessed to travel around the world several times, personally teach over 500,000 students in seminars like this, and do over $100 million in revenue from the stage. Raise your hand if you'd like to be able to do over $100 million in the next 20 years. Students all look at it and go, oh yeah, that's for me.
Oh yeah, that's for me.
So we're here to be your guides. We're here to be your Sherpas. And we also have the blessing that in between the sessions, we're going to help you. We're going to have a lot of fun to ingrain what you just learned. Because we don't want you to just sit there, learn, and then hope to remember it. We're going to have some fun and ingrain. And raise your hand if you like having fun.
Oh yeah.
Raise your hand if you agree there's way too many serious people on the planet.
Yeah.
Anybody know them personally? Yes. Like they're in your seat right now? Everybody go like this, go like this. Say, I'm ready to have fun. Now, some people like, they're like, I'm not doing it. But they're I'm sure we're good. So, as Richard said, we have some amazing speakers and people to teach. This first gentleman is going to be coming to us virtual, that's why you heard his voice. He's traveling around the world doing what he's absolutely spectacular at. So the first person can be on video. Watch and listen closely. Who do we have here?
So this gentleman, we recently became acquainted with. I have very quickly become a student of. This guy is amazing. Now we know AI is here. It's here to stay. Some of us love us. Some of us hate it. Some of us are going to get replaced by it. And some of us are going to ride this wave. And if you don't know about it, or if you already consider yourself an expert, get ready to meet the source. This guy's going to rock your world. I'm blown. This is our third time.
Third time.
I'm going to introduce you to one of the most remarkable people on the planet. He has written 20 best-selling books with almost 4 million copies in print. He has been Japan's most popular speaker for over 3 decades. His clients have included the U.S. Navy, the U.S. Army, the U.S. Marines, the Japanese Foreign Ministry, the Japan Productivity Center, Toyota, Nissan, Honda, McDonald's, Barclays Bank, the Mitsui Financial Group, MUFG Bank, Tokyo Disneyland, the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, 7-Eleven Japan, Lawson, Samsung, Sony, NEC, IBM, Hitachi, Olympus, NTT, Docomo, Mitsui Petrochemical, Johnson & Johnson, Takeda Pharmaceuticals, Asahi Breweries, and many others. He has met with and coached more than 500,000 people, changing their lives for the better. He has worked for the U.S. Department of State. He was the CEO of Franklin Covey Japan. He was the chairman of a $2 billion global hedge fund. He has met with leaders ranging from the Emperor of Japan to the President of the United States. He has accomplished over 1,000 personal goals. He started with nothing and now has everything. But what is more amazing than that? He has been involved with AI since 1985. He studied AI and business strategy at MIT, and his recent book, a book about AI, written by AI, was selected as the best book in China for 2023. He has lectured about AI at the United Nations, performed the first TEDx talk delivered completely by AI. He is the founder of AI Superhuman, where he teaches AI to high-performance people in 46 countries. He is James Skinner, and he is here today to break down AI for you as no one else can. Welcome him to the screen, Mr. James Skinner.
Coming to you live from Tokyo, Japan. As was just mentioned, I actually live my life now while traveling all over the world, which is truly amazing. So I have, I guess, kind of a modest goal for our time together today. And that goal is that before we're done together, I want you to know why all the fuss. Why all the fuss? Why is everybody making all this noise about AI? Because I actually don't think that most people really understand what all the fuss is about. Most people have maybe played around with ChatGPT a little bit, and perhaps have used it a little bit and think it's a tool that can write essays and help your children cheat on their homework or something like that. But that's not what it is. And so hopefully by the time we're done today, you'll have a little bit of a picture about what all the noise is about, and why AI is important to you, and why AI needs to be a part of your future. So without further ado, I want to welcome you to the greatest opportunity of all time. That's not hyperbole. This is not the greatest opportunity of the century or of the decade. It's not the greatest opportunity of the year. It is literally the greatest opportunity of all time. And that, of course, is AI. So, I want to start with this. This #1 best-selling book in Japan was not written by a human. It was, in fact, written by AI. But, I collect the royalties. So, how many of you would like to have AI working for you and you collect the money? Right? Like, that sounds pretty awesome. So that's the kind of world that we're moving into. This book was selected as the best book of the year in China for 2023. Bill Gates had this to say. He said, the development of AI is as fundamental as the creation of the microprocessors, the personal computer, the internet, and the mobile phone. I knew I had just seen the most important advance in technology since the graphical user interface, which was 1968. So, that's interesting. We will attempt to, okay, here we go. So, Elon Musk, so I guess they weren't seeing the screen share, so I will go back and show you the book. This is the book that I had AI write about AI that became the best-selling book of the year in China 2023. So, let's go to what Elon Musk had to say, and he should know something about this as the richest man in the world and the key development figure in AI. This is the most important thing humanity has ever worked on. Ever. So, The Washington Post said this: crypto is a bicycle, AI is a bullet train. Crypto is a bicycle, AI is a bullet train. Just let that sink in for a moment. And I was recently on a conference call with Sam Altman, and he was asked a very interesting question. Somebody asked him, how long do you think it will be before we see the first billion-dollar company with only one employee? So I want you to imagine that for a moment. Only one employee, that would be you. And everything else in the company is AI. And that would be $1 billion company. He said, when do you think that will happen? Sam Altman didn't bat an eyelash. He's, of course, the president and founder of OpenAI, which created ChatGPT. He said 3 years, maybe 4. 3 years, maybe 4. We are 3 years, maybe 4 away from the first $1 billion company that is a single employee with just AI working for them. Is this exciting to anybody out here? I think that you could be running a major business. It's all being run by AI and just you. Anybody excited by that? Let's see some hands. I am actually able to see you guys. Great. So, think about this, the Magnificent Seven. Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA, Meta Platforms, Alphabet, Google, Amazon, and Tesla are affectionately known as the Magnificent Seven. These 7 companies alone now make up 30% of the S&P 500 and 55% of the NASDAQ. They are all AI companies. All of them, every single one. McKinsey, world's kind of largest consulting firm, had this to say. They said 800 million people are at risk of losing their jobs to AI and other forms of automation. Now, how many people is that? We don't actually have a good mental reference for this, because usually when we think about numbers of people, we're thinking about population. You may think about the population of Germany, or the population of the UK, or the population of the EU, something like that. But I want to tell you how many people this is. I actually did some math. This is more than the entire working population of the United States of America, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, the EU, the United Arab Emirates, and South Africa combined. That's how many people they put at being at risk of their jobs because of AI. But that was before ChatGPT. Just let that sink in for a moment. That was before ChatGPT. Some people think this is just a kind of a toy that your children can use to cheat on their homework. It's not that, it's the atomic bomb. You really need to let that sink in. So, Goldman Sachs says that 25% of all labor in the US can be replaced right now by generative AI. And if we add 25% to the unemployment rate, you get 1933, the Great Depression. Let that sink in for a moment. There's a reason why people are making so much noise about this. Now, 67%, recent survey, 67% of people in America are concerned with AI's possible effects on their jobs. That's a ridiculous number. If 100% of the people are not concerned with this, they're absolutely stupid. I'm actually a nice guy, but I get kind of passionate about this. 3 out of 4 of those people believe that their job will still exist 30 years from now. We are living, my friends, in a delusional world. This is delusional. This is crazy. They think, oh, everybody else's job is at risk, but not mine. Not mine. That's insane. So let's start with this thought. AI may not steal your job or ruin your business. Let's concede. Oh, you may be saying my job requires a personal touch, or my job requires these human elements. Okay, fine. AI may not steal your job or ruin your business, but I guarantee you 100% that some other human using AI absolutely will steal your job and ruin your business. Because AI is going to raise their quality so high, reduce their time so much, reduce their cost so much, that they will make you irrelevant. So I want to talk about that a little bit, but let's start with this other idea as well. The big lesson to take away from this is that the ostrich theory of risk management will get you killed. You cannot stick your head in the sand and hope that this problem is going to go away. So, my mother's first job out of college was working in what is called a typing pool. Any of you remember these things? Any older people? It used to be that every company, every government organization would have a large room full of people who just typed all day. Those no longer exist. And my question is, what happened? Is there less typing going on than there was before? Are less documents being typed than there were before? And the answer is not at all. There's actually much more typing going on now than there was before. But there are no typists. The only place where you're likely to see a typist today is in a courtroom. So what happened? The word processor happened. See, it used to be that when you were typing, if you made a mistake, you had to type the whole page over again. And so you needed to be able to type with no mistakes, no errors. And so it was a highly technical job. But as soon as the word processor came along, if you made a mistake, you just corrected it. That was an earth-shaking revolution. Now all the CEOs and managers in the world just type their own documents. They type their own emails. They don't type their own messages. We're about to see that happen to a whole lot more jobs. What jobs do you think are about to become so easy that everyone will just do them by themselves instead of asking an expert for help? Think deeply about that, because there are a lot. What skills will you need to have to even be on the playing field of the global economy? Like if you can't type your own email, can you imagine going to a job interview and saying, yeah, I'm competent, but I don't know how to write an email? Like that's crazy, right? Like you need...
He's frozen. Is this like a live event with a live stream?
AI is not
Not what you really want to happen in the middle of a seminar, is it? You need to get one of the presenters back up. Really, they do. Oh my god. This is very interesting, is it not? But yeah, I'm having a great time here. It's really good. So I started my entrepreneurial journey through going to a Success Resources event. This is live.
We're just going to resolve this issue with the internet connectivity. Please do remain seated and just speak to your neighbours and discuss
So yeah,
what we're
it's
going to
huge,
achieve
see?
over the next 2 minutes. Thank you very much.
So yeah, there's loads of people here. This is actually a live event. Oh.
Once again, we're going to be reconvening very shortly. Please, in the meantime, remain seated and just speak to your neighbour and discuss what we're hoping to achieve over the next 2 minutes. Thank you
I
very
think
much.
I need to go to the toilet. Anyway, it's really good. Well, I think it's going to come back in a
You
minute.
got no technical issues? All right, so
That never happens.
that never happens, right? You know, actually, this gives us a chance to get that ready. Raise your hand if you'd like to know how to get the absolute most out of the National Achievers Conference this next 2 days. Excellent. So a couple of things, like we said, the 1 or 2. But also, James is the only person we're going to be bringing on virtual. The rest of you will be a live presenter, live trainer. And, oh, there we go. Here we got sound. Give me 20 seconds, we'll bring you back up.
James, you with us again?
I've been here the whole time. Where are you guys at?
You got a little technology. So we'll come back on. Let's get it back to James so we can give him as much time as possible.
Absolutely.
But we'll hang out in the room just in case it drops again.
Take
If
notes.
it drops, just to turn to someone and say, I think it just dropped again. I wonder if that's AI. No. All right, James, back to you.
Okay, can you tell me where I dropped off?
Right where you are, that's where you dropped off, they say.
Okay, great. So a whole ton of jobs are about to become so simple that everyone will just be doing them themselves. So what are some of those? Let's take a look. Here are a few. Design, photography, drawing, websites, data analytics, video editing, music composition and performance, copywriting, editing, translation, customer service, sales, process automation, programming, reading and responding to emails, avatars, chatbots. The whole world, you do it, sells better than you do it, programs better than you, it never sleeps, and it is perfectly happy to work for you 24/7. Who would like a whole bunch of employees? Okay. It's not going to quit, it's not going to resign, it's not going to file labor complaints. It's a whole different world. So, think about this. More wealth will be created in the next 5 years than in the entire last 50. This is a moral certainty. More wealth will be created in the next 5 years than in the entire last 50. How many of you would like to have part of that? Great. So the question then becomes, are you prepared? And I think the honest answer for most people is you're not. You're not prepared for an AI age. You don't even really have a good grasp of what it actually means. And so by the time that we're done today with just this little bit of time that we have, I want to help you grasp what this age means, okay, why it's so important. So think about this. McKinsey predicted that AI will generate $2.6 to $4.4 trillion increase in corporate revenue. Generative AI alone. So how much money is that? Well, that's a pretty good question. That is more than the entire economy of the UK. That is larger than pharmaceuticals at 1.27 trillion, telecommunications at 1.5. That is larger than telecommunications. That is larger than the entire global military and defense budgets, which are 1.9 trillion. It's larger than entertainment and media at 2 trillion. It's larger than automobiles at 2 trillion. It is larger than the entire oil and gas industry at 3 trillion. And it is just a little bit larger than the entire global e-commerce industry. The only industries in the world that are larger than the increase in revenue that we're about to see are the global financial industry and the global healthcare industry. That's it. It's bigger than everything else. And that was calculated off of just 66 possible uses of generative AI. Now, most of you are thinking like generative AI, you're thinking 1 or 2 use cases. It's much broader than that, and we'll get to that in a moment. So Eva, what is it? I want you to think about that. What are you going to do about it? So let me what the revolution means.
So yeah, you gotta love internet. So James, I don't know if you can hear us, but you froze up a bit again. So we're gonna see if we can adjust with that. There he's back.
Okay. So they gave ChatGPT the Uniform Bar Exam, which is the exam that all lawyers take in the United States. And it passed in the top 10% of all applicants. It means it's smarter than 90% of the lawyers. Just let that sink in for a moment. Everyone is still getting it wrong. It is not a replacement for Google. Let me say that again. It is not a replacement for Google. The thing that most people are getting wrong is that they are using it as some kind of a substitute for Google. You're asking it the kind of questions that you would ask Google. Is this resonating with anyone? How many of you have used ChatGPT and use it somewhat as a replacement for Google? Okay, but what you're missing is that ChatGPT does not have a database of facts at all. Let me say that again. ChatGPT does not have a database of facts at all. It in fact does not know any facts. Let me say that again. ChatGPT does in fact not know any facts. Let me say that one more time so that it really sinks in. ChatGPT does not know any facts. And so you are asking somebody who does not know any facts for the facts and sometimes it gets them wrong, and you get confused. You're like, ChatGPT lies. ChatGPT gets the facts wrong. ChatGPT hallucinates. ChatGPT doesn't know what it's talking about, so it's no good. How many of you have had thoughts like that so far, seriously? How many of you have asked ChatGPT a question and got an answer that was factually wrong? Answer. So I was teaching a group of Japanese people ChatGPT this last week in a very intensive course, and I asked them to get ChatGPT to say something that was factually incorrect. Everyone in the room got to say something factually incorrect within 5 minutes. Let me say that again. Everyone in the room got it to say something factually incorrect within 5 minutes. But that's not what it is. It's not a search engine. It is a reasoning engine. People who know how to use ChatGPT well do not ask ChatGPT the facts. They give ChatGPT the facts and ask it to think about them. Let me say that again. You give ChatGPT the facts and you ask it to think about them. So for example, I head up an investment community in Japan. We were talking about how to use AI, so we gave AI the financial statements for Tesla. Where did we get the financial statements? We got them from the Securities and Exchange Commission website. So we have absolutely the correct facts to work with. We plugged them into ChatGPT. We said, analyze these financial statements. Tell us where the problems are. It nailed it in, I don't know, 12 seconds, something like that. I used to, way back in the day, work as a financial analyst. People would pay me $100,000 a year for doing that, and I would spend a day doing that for one company. ChatGPT is doing that in 12 seconds. Then I lied to AI. How many of you regularly lie to AI? Oh, wow. The rest of you need to get with the program. So I lie to AI quite often. I told AI, I said, I'm on the board of directors of Tesla, which I'm not. I am visiting their headquarters factory in California next week, but I'm not on the board of directors. So I said, I'm on the board of directors. Tell me what questions I should ask the president, Elon Musk, at our next board meeting. Generates every question that should be raised at the next board meeting. Corporate directors of multinational companies are paid millions of dollars a year specifically for knowing what questions to ask at the board meeting. That is their job. ChatGPT does it at a world-class level. So, whatever you thought, so the next thing to think about, whatever you thought computers were bad at, AI is great at. How many of you were taught that computers can only do what they're programmed to do? It's no longer true. It's absolute nonsense. AI does things that it was never programmed to do. So I want you to imagine that you have a precocious child, and your child goes to the library, and your child reads 10,000 books because your child is precocious, and your child comes home. Do you have any idea what your child is capable of? How many of you would say you have no idea? Yeah, you have no idea what is gained from those 10,000 books. ChatGPT is exactly the same. The engineers at OpenAI do not know all of what ChatGPT can do. Let me say that again. The engineers at OpenAI do not know all of what ChatGPT can do. We're still discovering it. So we're going to do some work. I want to show you, so the correct way to think about AI, here's how I want you to think about AI. AI is an employee that works for you. Okay, AI is an employee that works for you. So everybody in this room, whether you had any employees or not, you now have employees and you're now a manager. Does that make sense? Everybody is now a manager. You have employees. They are called AI, and they work for you. Okay, so we're going to invite this employee into the office, and I want to show you the first 120 seconds, just 2 minutes of what AI will do in the office. Okay? So it's going to be a 2-minute demonstration. Don't blink. That. Hold on, give me just a second here. Oops, we need to share my screen for sound. Let me reshare. There we go. Imagine you visit.
Unfortunately, you can't see that very easily over here.
Post some public things. Done. Create a sales script so we can start selling this thing. Write 5 follow-up emails and the client. All the action. Draft the contract so you can franchise this business. Yes, pass the bar exam. Create a computer program to manage our employee schedules. Create a user manual for that computer program. Write a presentation to raise capital. That is 120 seconds of one AI at work. And so now I need to ask you a really simple question. How fast is your company moving? Are you moving at anything like the modern speed of business? How many of you think your businesses are moving too slow? Yeah, if you're not raising your hand, you're losing. We can always use more speed in our business. I had a community in Japan called the Billionaire Network, and we're always speed. Always speed. So now I want to zero in a little bit more on why this is such a big deal. And this is not well understood. So bear with me for a little while. I've been a management consultant now for 35 years, and I've worked with a lot of companies, a lot of government organizations, military organizations. And through that process, there's something that I've learned. And that is that of the things that businesses do, only about 20% of them can be automated. So jot that down, 20%. Up until now, we've been able to automate about 20% of business tasks. So why haven't we been able to automate the other 80%? And this is going to really give you a look into why generative AI is so disruptive. Okay? This is going to be the thing to look at. There are two main reasons why we haven't been able to automate everything. Reason number one, we don't have good data. The data is not well organized. So I'll give you a really simple example of that. How many of you get a lot of bills that get sent to your home, like the utility bill, the electric bill, the water bill, your rent, your insurance, right? You get the bill. And every company bills you in a different format. And so every company in the world gets all these invoices, and the people in the accounting department at the end of the month, they're busy inputting these invoices by hand into the computer system. Well, where's the sales tax? Where's the due date on this payment? Where's the itemization of what this is for? And because they're all in different formats, they haven't been able to automate that process until now. Because AI can read unformatted data and extract the things that you want. It can find the sales tax. So here's the thing, are you ready? Everybody's waiting for AI to be smarter than the smartest person on the planet. Let me say that again. Everybody is waiting for AI to be smarter than the smartest person on the planet. But it doesn't have to be that to change everything. It only has to be, say, as smart as an average entry-level employee to change everything. Because you don't need to be that smart to find the due date on an invoice, right? How many of you in this room are smart enough to find the due date on an invoice? I hope this is everyone, right? And so it doesn't need to be that smart to change everything. And then this is the next part. 80% of the processes that we deal with in companies require some small level of intelligence. Small level of intelligence, not a lot, not a great deal. Okay, so for example, say you ask your assistant, read all my emails and find the ones where the customer is very upset. And if the customer is very upset, forward that email to the customer service manager. How smart do you need to be to figure out if the customer is upset or not? Not very smart, right? Like if the person says, I hate your frigging company, they're pretty upset. Or your product sucks, they're pretty upset, right? Like you don't need a PhD in, rocket science to figure out that the customer's upset. So any entry-level employee can do this task. And they'll get it wrong once in a while, but so what, Well, AI can do that now. So for example, everybody has heard that ChatGPT can write, right? Anybody here, have you all heard that ChatGPT is good at writing? Everybody heard that? I'm just testing to see if you're still awake, so raise your hands. Great. So, but the thing that people are not focusing on is actually the more important thing. ChatGPT can read. And nobody in the media is writing about it. ChatGPT can read. This is earth-shaking. So ChatGPT, for example, reads every email that I receive. It automatically categorizes them all for me. It says, this is marketing bullshit, puts it in the marketing BS folder. I actually have a folder in my Gmail called marketing BS. It says, this is a blog about AI that you might want to read later on. Puts it in an AI blog folder. It says, this is a personal message. Puts it in a personal folder. And I've got a whole bunch of folders, and it automatically sorts all the email. So when I want to study AI, I can just open up the AI blog folder, and all my AI blogs are automatically there. Does this make sense? And it also, because it's able to read the email, it figures out every email that needs to be responded to. And it automatically drafts a response. So all I need to do is open up my drafts folder and say, okay, send this one, change this one a little bit, send it. No, delete this one, don't need to send that. And in a few moments, my whole email for the day is taken care of. Would this be extremely useful to anybody here? Oh, yeah. Okay, let me give you another example of the kind of tasks that AI is now able to automate. So how many of you pay attention to the news for at least some part of your life? Like maybe you only look at, technical news that relates to your business or economic news that relates to your investing. But how many of you look at some type of news? Okay, and it's a lot of work, right? You go to the news sites and you scroll through all and look at the articles and then try and decide which ones to read. I don't do that anymore. AI literally reads all the news sites that I am interested in following. Just absorb that for a moment. It reads TechCrunch and Wired and CNBC, and the financial news, everything that I want to follow. It reads it, and I have set up criteria that says if the article is about any of these things, then I don't want you to forward it to me. I want you to rewrite it. I have a specific format, a specific style of writing, and a specific length that I want all the news articles that I look at to be. Okay? And so it actually rewrites all those news articles, and then it sends a message this is the coolest part of this, I like this part so much. It sends a message to my WhatsApp.
Wow.
And then I just click on it, and I see the news article that I want to read.
Wow.
This sound useful to anybody?
Yes.
It's an amazing time saver. And then, if I read the summary of the news, which AI has written for me, and I want to look at the whole article, it is also providing the link to the original article. So I can click on it and read the whole thing if I want to. These are the kind of things that are beginning to happen. Now, the other thing that I want you to understand is that the power of AI, everybody's gotten this so wrong, the power of AI is not in single individual programs. Let me say that again. The power of AI is not in single individual programs. Just using one program is not going to allow you to do any of the kind of things that I'm talking about. The power is when we start to connect multiple AIs one to another. Multiple software programs one to another. When we connect those together, we have an amazing explosion. So for example, I write books for a living. So I just did a little experiment. I created a Google Sheet, and in the Google Sheet, I input the criteria for a book. So the name of the book, what the book's about, the style that the book should be written in, what authors I want the style to emulate, and so forth. Once I input that into the Google Sheet, AI, every 2 minutes, checks my Google Sheet. Every 2 minutes of the day, checks my Google Sheet, and if there's a new entry in the Google Sheet, it takes that criteria and it writes an entire book. Please absorb that for a moment. And then 5 minutes later, that entire book gets delivered to my email. Is this something a little bit different than what you've been thinking that ChatGPT sort of is? Anybody feeling this is maybe a little bit different? Every morning at 9 a.m. Every morning at 9 a.m., ChatGPT writes a tweet about personal development based on criteria that I have established. Then based on that content of that tweet, it generates an image, and it automatically posts the image and the tweet to my Twitter feed. Every morning at 9 a.m. Sound useful?
Yeah.
Anybody? I go on and on and on. We can automate all these things that used to have to be done by hand. In my community this month, we've been talking about websites. We can generate the entire content for a complex website. All the pages, all the layout, all the wireframes, where every video goes, where every photo goes, where we have the hero section, where we have the customer testimonials, where we have the contact section, every part of it, in, I don't know, 20 seconds. Generative AI is capable of generating a lot more types of things than you think. And so this is another thought I want to plant in your mind. 80% of the battle, 80%, and I'm pretty sure this is about right. I know it's not precisely right, but 80% of the battle is knowing what kinds of things AI is capable of. Most people have no idea what kinds of things it's capable of. So I'm going to share one thought, and then I'm going to give you an opportunity to connect with me so that we can go into this in more depth. How many of you want to go into this in more depth and see what AI is actually capable of? Right? Because I can open up a whole new world to you and show you where the leading edge on this is, what it can do, what it can't do. And I really want to do that for you because I think that's going to change. 80% of the battle is knowing what AI is in fact capable of. Because most of you are simply not asking AI enough things. Because you don't have an idea that it's capable of doing them. And even if it was capable of doing them, you don't have an idea of what and what we need to connect to get that result. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if we needed to connect like 4 different programs to get a thing done, and all you know is ChatGPT, you're not going to be able to get the thing done. So for example, ChatGPT alone is not gonna like go out and read all the news for you. There's no way to hook that up. But if we add some other programs into that mix, we can easily do that. And that entire automation was built in, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. That's all it takes to really get that done. So, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time today to do this. SR has kind of put me on the clock here. So, I try to ignore them. But we've only got a few minutes left. So, when did they tell me this is? The 2nd of May, your time, at 7:30 p.m. UK time, we're going to have a breakout session. Okay? So let me say that again. That's at 7:30 p.m. UK time on the 2nd of May. We're going to have a breakout session. And in that session, it's going to be much more intimate than this. Because you're going to be directly, not on a webinar with me, but on a Zoom call with me. Everybody understand the difference? It's not going to be me talking one way to you. It's going to be us having a two-way discussion where we can answer your questions, where we can interact, where I can show you stuff and you can say, hey, what's up with that? Right? So for how many of you would this like be a useful thing for us to be able to connect, actually have a conversation about this stuff? So I realized last year, very early on, that I've been involved with this stuff since 1985, but most of the people who are deeply involved in AI are so busy building it that they don't have time to teach it. Let me say that again. Most of the people that are heavily involved with AI are so busy building it right now that they don't have time to teach it. But I'm in a fortunate position that, I've kind of had my career and I spend my time traveling the world and mostly sitting around tropical beaches and pools and resorts and trying to help people understand things that I've come to understand through my career. And that's my passion. The purpose of my life is to teach the world a better way to live. So I want to spend some time with you guys and help you understand what this AI thing is about, why it's so impactful, how we go about, automating the 80% of the tasks that we couldn't do before, how it's going to empower you in your business, how it's going to empower you in your job, how it's going to accelerate everything that you do, how it's going to improve the quality of everything that you do, how it's going to reduce the price of everything, the cost of everything that you do. This is rocket fuel for your entire career. This is rocket fuel for your entire business. So I hope that you'll avail yourself of that opportunity. I hope that I've given you a little bit of a taste. But I want to just share one more example. As a hobby of mine, I build Japanese garden in the U.S. And I have a landscape designer that we've been working together on this one garden for 8 years together now. And he came over to my house. His name's Lars, he's originally of Swedish extraction, and he said to me, James, what in the hell does AI have to do with me? I plant trees for a living. How many of you have had some thoughts that like maybe AI doesn't concern your particular job so much? Anybody have like thoughts like maybe everybody else's job, mine's a little bit different? Honestly, there'll be some of you, yeah? So he said, look, I plant trees for a living. Why do I need AI? I said to him, okay, Lars, tell me this. I said, what's the biggest bottleneck in your business right now? He said, oh, that's easy. I've been doing this for 30 years. When I go to meet a client, they show me their garden, they show me what they want to do, I immediately know how much it's going to cost. But I can't get the job by just knowing how much it's going to cost. Everybody wants to see an itemized proposal. How much labor, how much materials, how much for the plants, how much for the plantings, everything. And if the job doesn't look really high probability, or it's just a little bit smaller than what I usually do, or if I think there's maybe a lot of competition for the business, I don't want to spend the time writing the proposal. And so I let a lot of jobs just slip through my fingers because they feel like too much trouble. Anybody have any situation in your work that sounds something like that? Something that doesn't get done because it's too much trouble, or it's too costly, or it takes too much time? 10 minutes later, we had built an automation where he fills out a simple form about the job, which takes 3 minutes to fill out, and AI automatically generates the itemized costing, the materials, the labor, the proposal, a PowerPoint presentation to show the proposal to the client, and all the follow-up emails that he needs to send to get the client to take action. Do things like that sound really useful to everyone in this room?
Yeah.
So I want you to understand that this is for everyone. You can be a tree planter, and we can find ways to make this really, really valuable for you, because now he's bidding on every job that comes his way. It could double his income, literally. So that's what we're going to be doing in the breakout session. Really love to see you there. Wish I could be with you there, but unfortunately I had previous commitments in Tokyo, which actually lasted until 2 hours ago. So it simply wasn't physically possible to actually be there to be with you, which I regret. Hopefully I'll get to see you in person somewhere as well. But I will be looking forward to seeing you guys in the breakout room. I also wanted to give a big shout out to Robert Allen. It's been quite a while since Robert and I last talked, and it was actually right before Robert had a terrific, horrific traffic accident. And really glad to see Robert doing so well after all these years. And it's great to see all the rest of you guys, and we'll see you at the breakout session. Thanks, everyone.
Raise your hand if you learned something from James Skinner, yes? Yes. Yeah, take your phones out, get that QR code right now so that you can get onto that special Zoom session. We're going to be on it, we're going to be listening, we're going to be...
Absolutely. There's not going to be a time that I'm going to miss James. And while he's talking, I'm out there using ChatGPT. You ride the wave, you either got a surfboard, or you're going to get drowned by it. So get on it.
And how many of you learned something new about AI? And raise your hand if you originally had a little bit of resistance to AI, but now you have an understanding that, you know what, I can probably put this into my life. Raise your hand if you agree with that, yes? Excellent. So one of the reasons that Aaron and I feel blessed to be with all of you through the next 2 days, you're going to be getting a lot of amazing information from a lot of people. And we're going to help you integrate it, to ingrain it, so that you don't just think about it. How many of you would love to be able to leave here having a greater understanding on a cellular basis about the information that you're learning? Raise your hand if you like that, yes? Excellent. Some of them are still so blown away by you. James, you're like, yes. Okay. We're getting down so much information, so your energy, if they think about it, Aaron, isn't this true? Everything in the universe is one thing.
Energy.
Yeah, everything's energy. What's the word, everybody?
Energy.
It's energy, Robert. Everything's one thing. What is it, everybody?
Energy!
And we want you to play at a higher level, so we're going to actually play a game, because throughout the entire 2 days, you're going to be one of the biggest things, and we're going to talk about the rule of 33 in a moment. But how many of you agree who you spend your time with, who you surround yourself with, makes a big difference on your success and your financial potential? Raise your hand if you agree with that, yes?
Aye.
So one thing we are going to encourage over the next 2 days is meet as many new people as you can. So how are they going to do that to make it more impactful?
So here's the first thing I want you to do. It's time for the phones to go away. I want you to get things off your laps. In this next exercise, we are going to be up and moving around. There's a lesson that's going to come with this. And I believe that one
Thanks
of
for
the things
watching.
that have
Subscribe and
been
hit the bell
difficult
icon
for
for
us to
more.
recover from since the pandemic is that